examples and practice problems so that you have a good understanding of what the theory and its application means. Okay. So that would be just, in simple words, that's what we're going to do. But you can also bring in your doubts if there's anything specifically that you have come across while you were, say, solving your assignments or when you were watching the videos. We'll try to resolve them as much as possible in these sessions. And the ones that we cannot, of course, we have the space to talk to the professor during the live session. So, yes, that is about what these sessions are going to be. Anything that you want to ask me? Any clarifications that you need, or anything that you have in your mind about the session, or anything generally about the course? You can unmute yourself, okay? No problem. I haven't changed the settings or anything. No? Nobody? That's a different session, Sneha. So you have multiple sessions as a part of your English 1-2. Some of them are specific to English 1, some of them are specific to English 2. Both English 1 and English 2 sessions, courses would have the learn thereof sessions. Okay. The session that you're asking, that is different from this. That happens usually on Sundays, if I'm not wrong. Okay. And that's handled by a different person. This is not, yes, this is going to be a practice or a drill session for the major topics that we cover in the video lectures. Okay. How to join these sessions? I think your calendar would be populated, right? That's what we are told. I don't do it on my own. Nobody from the team does it. There's usually an administrative team, the support team, which is responsible for it. I think the links to all the sessions are updated on your calendar. You can find it there, which I think you access from your course page, right? If I'm not wrong. I think that's how it works. Yeah, like I just mentioned, we're going to pick a few topics from the previous week's lecture, okay, and discuss it with you. So those of you are finding it difficult to catch up with the video lectures, or if you have doubts from the video lectures, then some of them would be straightened out in these sessions. We'll also have practice questions so that you can apply the concepts and the theories that you've learned through your video lectures. Okay? So that is what mostly these sessions are going to be about. My voice isn't clear. Is it for everyone, or is it just for a few of you? Clear? Okay, I get mixed responses. Some of them say yes, it's clear. Some of them say okay, if it's clear for most of you, then I think you can readjust to your, because I don't think I have anything that would cause an echo. But let me know if it is too tough. Okay. Not fully clear. I don't know why it is so. Let me try and adjust the position on those that. Let me see how it goes. Oh, I do not know why it is not populated in your calendar. If it is not, please write a mail to the support team and ask if there's a problem with it. Usually it is populated. That's how the process is. The procedure to do these things are that. But if there are technical problems, then I do not know how it works. You might have to write a mail to the team to figure out what the process. Okay. All right. Okay. So if you are done with your questions, then let me start with the session. So what I'm going to do is I'll share the screen with you, and we'll look at a few topics right now. We'll just quickly, have a recap or look again at what you have discussed in the week one lecture. So the learner of sessions would always be topics which is like a week later than the one that you've been taking now. That is done purposefully because we want to spend some time with the video lectures and then come to the session. So like once your qualifiers or your quiz is done, we'll take again a break of 1 week and then start later. Once the video lectures for week 5 is released, you have some time with it. You spend at least a week with those lectures and then come to the session. This is just to see that there's no gap of learning with respect to both the videos and these sections. Okay. So, just a minute, I'll share the screen with you. What happened? Can you hear me, guys? Voice is breaking. Is it clear now? Okay, just give me a minute, okay?
Okay, hi. Am I audible now? Yes? Okay. All right. Fine, fine, fine. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll begin with the session. I'll share the screen with you. Let's quickly take a recap on what the topics for the first week was. So I'll be talking about it mostly. And if you have any doubts, you can either raise your hands or leave a question in the chat, but please do not unmute yourself while I'm speaking, okay? Because that would cause interruption to both me as well as people who are listening. So if you have a question, just keep your hands raised. I'll come to you, or else please leave the question in the chat. So, can you all see the screen? The screen is visible to you, right? Okay. All right. Thank you. Yes, yes. The session is both. Okay, it is not just to clear your doubts. You'll be practicing questions here, but you can also use a space to clarify your doubts. So we don't, there's nothing that is going to regulate you on not asking a question here. You can clear your doubts, but mostly this is meant for the practice session. So whatever doubts you have, most probably we'll be taking it up at the end of the session. Okay, so our priority would be to discuss the topics and then go ahead and do our questions. We won't do too many of them. At least 20 questions is what my target is for every session. Okay, more than that would sometimes become really difficult given this is only a 1 hour session. But whatever doubts you have, you can ask them at the end of the session so that we don't disturb the session itself. Right? Yeah, guys, please, there's one more thing. please refrain yourself from having a personal conversation about groups or anything. And please stop spamming the chat with links to other groups. You don't have to do all these things here. These sessions are not meant for that. Okay. Avoid doing these things during the live sessions as well as the other sessions that we do. You come here to listen to the class. Please do not indulge in any kind of self-promotions. We'll have to regulate it if it becomes too much. Okay. All right. So let's begin. We'll have the session started, right? So for today's class, we'll be looking at the following. You have it on the screen. Mostly the discussion and the questions that we are going to do are going to be around the sounds of English, right? Now you're familiar with those sounds. You have seen the categorization involved in those sounds, which are the first thing that you see on the screen, which is vowels and consonant sounds. Okay. One thing that you need to train yourself at this point is that we are going to discuss, whenever we talk about vowels and consonants, we will be only concerned with the vowel sounds and the consonant sounds. Okay. A lot of us may have undertaken a sort of learning which would have familiarized us with letters, okay, vowel letters and vowel consonant letters. This is something that you have to slowly but definitely unlearn. When we talk about vowels and consonants, the major concern that we have, or the question in point, is always the sounds, the vowel sounds and the consonant sounds, right? It takes time, but please take a conscious effort, make some conscious efforts to unlearn this association of letters and sounds, okay? Especially in a language like English, we know that there is no one-on-one correspondence between the sounds and the letters. Okay, I don't know who this is. Kushi, could you please stop doing this? Okay, I think I just told you to stop sharing links here. I think this is the last time I'm going to say this. If I say this again, I am sorry, I will have no choice but to remove you from the meeting. You don't have to do it here. Okay, this is not the space where you should be doing this. Please take this as the final warning. Please don't share the groups and links here. The chat box is meant for a very different purpose. Do not spam it. Okay, there are high chances that we'll lose track of the questions or concerns that other people have. Final warning, please don't do this. Okay, okay, coming back. We'll be looking at the vowel sounds and the consonant sounds a bit in detail. Okay, if you have questions at this point, any doubts and concerns regarding this, you can ask that. The second thing that we'll be dealing with is the long and the short vowels. Okay. Third one would be the features of sounds, okay, and particularly when we talk about voicing, voicing is a feature of which kind of sounds? The consonant sounds, okay. Vowels don't have voicing. When we talk about, vowels are all voiced, okay, so there is no question of voiced vowels and non-voiced vowels. All the vowels are voiced. But as a feature, the point, the feature of voicing becomes important in the category of consonant sounds, because there are consonant sounds that are voiced and that there are sounds which are not voiced too. So we'll look at the voicing feature, and we'll also briefly look at the places and manners of articulation of English sounds. Okay, we'll look at only those, the places and the manners of articulation for the English sounds, not the one in general. Okay. So that is to quickly give you a brief on what you'll be looking at in this class. Let's go to the details. Okay. Now, do you see this chart on the screen? This sort of a picture. Okay. About articulators, right? You have two things. You have the articulators and you also have the cavities. You might have seen a cross-sectional diagram of this in the video lectures. Okay, this could give you a little more, a better understanding, I think, than the one that you have seen there. Let's look at them. We don't have to go into the details of any of this. We're not going to look at the, the biology or anything of this. We're only going to discuss the we're only going to discuss the ones that would be necessary for us to understand the course, okay, to understand the topics here, right? So look at this. We have articulators on your left-hand side, Okay, and to the right, you find the cavities. You have mainly three of them listed here, the nasal cavity, the oral, and the pharyngeal. In English, you don't have pharyngeal sounds. Okay, so the oral cavity is responsible for the production of oral sounds. Okay, what are oral sounds and nasal sounds? Okay, oral sounds is the one which mostly involves the articulators situated in your mouth. Okay, your mouth region. Nasal will have the involvement of nose. See, I'm only giving you a very general understanding of this. I told you I'm not going to go into the details of it because we don't need that for the course. It is beyond the scope of our course to understand the details of it. We'll only be looking at what is important for us to understand the topics that we deal with. Okay, so oral sounds are the ones that would have the site of production somewhere within the mouth region. And when we talk about nasal sounds, right? Nasal sounds would involve the nose. Okay. Pharyngeal is another space, the cavity that you see right, somewhere between your throat and the vocal fold region. This is again a very important part in the production of sounds in certain languages like Arabic. But in English, you do not have pharyngeal sounds. Most of the sounds that you have in English are either nasal in its feature or oral in its feature. Okay, keep this in mind. I might not be able to look at your questions immediately in the chat, but I'll try to look at them one by one. Sir said we only need to be familiar to these sounds. What kind of sounds? What sounds are you referring to? Do we need to remember? No, you don't have to remember any of these. See, we are dealing with concept, right? And you don't have to remember anything that is conceptual. You understand things that are conceptual. So there's no question of remembering. And even if I tell you, you should remember, how much can you? All of our memory has limits. We have different memory power. And even if you were to, it is an impossible task. You cannot mug up everything that you see. But this certainly does not require you to remember. This is a concept that I'm discussing with you. We are basically discussing the production of speech sounds. Okay, the processes involved, the mechanism of production of speech sounds. So as a part of that, we are looking at the various organs or articulators involved in the production, and you're also looking at the processes, the different features that the sounds attain because of the articulators that are involved in it, okay, or the other physical processes involved in the production. So I don't think you need to by heart or learn anything, as in remember anything. Pharyngeal sounds, it's a little no, there is no need of remembering phonetic symbols also, but I'm going to be using it so that you are introduced to it. Okay, it's nice to always know these, but again, there's no pressure on you. You don't have to learn it. From an exam point of view, it's absolutely not required. It's enough that you are able to distinguish between the various sounds and know basics of their production. You don't have to learn the IPA symbols. Okay, it's another question I missed. Just a moment. Pharyngeal sounds example. No, I cannot give you an example of the pharyngeal sound because I myself don't speak those languages. Like, but if you have heard Arabic, okay, try and listen to Arabic, and you will see that they have large presence of pharyngeal sounds. Okay, I cannot give you an example because see, one other important factor that all of us should understand is the production of speech sounds includes physical organs, right? Like the ones that you see here. And after a point of time, after a certain age, your organs or your articulators, they mature and you cannot produce certain kind of sounds after that point. So pharyngeal sounds is difficult for us, okay, Indians or the speakers of many other languages, Indian languages or certain other languages and English as well, to produce, because see, our articulators, our organs have matured, and there's physiological restriction in the production of those sounds. right? So which is why I cannot imitate and tell you what those sounds be like, but certainly you can go ahead and listen to the speakers of those languages and understand how they are different. You can spot for the differences of sounds that you don't see in your language, right? So that will tell you what a pharyngeal sound be like. Or just go online and look up what pharyngeal sound is. They'll certainly give you sources which can make you understand that, okay? The only reason I cannot give an example is it's tough for me. Okay, I have physiological restriction in the production of that sound, right? But for your purpose, keep in mind English doesn't have pharyngeal sounds. We only have nasal and oral. Okay, so that's about the cavities, the kinds of sounds. One of the features of the sounds in English would be that it will either have a nasal quality or an oral quality. Okay, now look at the articulators towards your left hand side, right? You have the, let's begin with the, we can, usually we begin from the back to the front because that is the direction of the production of sound, right? If you have followed the lectures, you know that we speak when we exhale, right? So speech is a result of the exhalation of air. So the air is pushed up from the lungs to the trachea, travels through all the space that you see here, reaches your vocal folds, right? Then the path it takes is it goes to it travels all the way from that vocal folds to your lips. Okay, and in the on the way, the time it reaches lips, on the way, depending on where a constriction happens in your mouth, which the space or the point where the constriction of the air or the obstruction to the air happens in your mouth, you have different kinds of sounds, okay, based on where the obstruction happens. So if it happens at the lips, if both your lips are involved, then you have what you call as the bilabial sounds, okay? Or if both your lips and teeth is involved, then you call them the labiodental sounds, okay? If the constriction or the obstruction of the air happens at the alveolar ridge, then you have the alveolar sounds. If it happens at the hard palate part, then you have the palatal sounds. And if it happens at the back, right, okay, after your uvula, right, which is the velum region, if the obstruction of the air happens at the velum, then you have what you refer to as the velar sounds, right? So this is how all those places of articulation get its name. So as the name suggests, wherever the air is obstructed in your vocal tract, which extends from your lungs up to the tip of your lips. Okay, wherever the air is obstructed, the point of that obstruction gives you the sound, that special sound. And all of these articulators, beginning with the lips, the teeth, the tongue, the velum, the alveolar ridge, the hard palate, the vocal folds, the uvula, all of them, they help and contribute in the production of these sounds. Okay, different, they give the sounds the distinction that we see as they have. Okay, uvular sounds again is something that is rare in English. Maybe certain variety of English could have that, but again, it's not, when you talk about the English sounds in general, it is not something that is considered to be a prominent sound in English. Okay, so we don't usually involve the uvular sound in the general description of the English sounds in English. Okay, is that clear? Any doubts you have with regards to this? Will it help in qualifier exams, or we should know? For the qualifier exams, please stick to the video lectures. The books are for the sake of reference, which is, they are meant for the further reading. Okay, so for qualifiers or any other exams that we conduct, the video lectures should suffice. You don't need to go and dig through any other materials. If there is a requirement, then we'll certainly let you know. Okay. If you're required to read anything on your part, or if you need any materials that, if you have to prepare any material for the exam, the team will certainly let you know. So you don't have to worry about that. No, you don't have to. Okay, see, do we have to learn the name of the organ? See, if you're asking this to me from an exam point of view, I would say, I do not know how to answer. I would always tell people that it's always nice that you know them. And is it really tough? Lips, teeth, tongue, The only three things that you additionally have here is velum, the alveolar ridge and the hard palate. Okay, only three of them, right? So if it is tough for you to remember them, then please skip it. But it is always nice, okay, to understand. This gives you a better understanding of what you're doing with your sound production. It enables your learning for sure if you know that. That's all I can say. I'm no one to tell you that you have to learn it. From an exam point of view, maybe no, not of that great an importance. But as a teacher, I would definitely tell you, please look at it because that enhances your learning as such. It gives you a quality understanding of the concepts that you're dealing with. So for your sake and for the sake of learning, it's good that you know them. Again, no need of by-hearting anything. Just know the places and try to remember what they are. If you can remember, good. If not, well and fine. No issues. Okay. So is this part clear to you, all of you? The discussion that we've had about the articulators and cavities. So just know the cavities and the articulators to understand what the different qualities that sounds in English could have. Okay. So we looked at two of them, one with respect to the cavities, which is nasal and oral, pharyngeal we don't have in English, and with respect to articulators or also known as the places of articulation, you have another set of sounds, okay? As in, what I mean is the sounds with certain other kind of qualities, okay? So this is one part of it. This is the introduction part. So what we just discussed is the mechanism of sound production in English, part of it. We looked at the places of articulation and the cavities as a part of that. There's another thing, another part involved in the mechanism of speech production that is referred to as the manner of articulation. We look at it very short. Okay. The question. Yeah, this is available on YouTube also. You can watch it. If you're watching it live, then you come every Tuesday between 4 to 5, same time. If you want to watch it on YouTube, that's also available. Okay. Now, have you seen this diagram? Is this also familiar to you from the lectures? You would have seen something like this, right? The air column, right? Now, what is this? This is about the vowels. This gives you an idea about how the production of vowel takes place within our mouth, okay? Or it tells you about the different qualities, like consonants have qualities with respect to places of articulation and manners of articulation. Vowels also have their own distinct qualities. Okay. Now, what decides for deciding on the quality of vowels or the features of vowels, the most important organ that we're going to look at is what? The tongue. Okay. The tongue is actively involved in the production of various vowel sounds. Depending on the roundedness of your mouth, okay, or the height of your tongue, okay, or the length, okay, the period of length of your breath, the vowels will attain different qualities. So the diagram that you see on your screen, it talks about two such qualities. One is about the high, mid, and the low vowels. Okay, two such distinctions. One is the high, mid, and the low vowels, and the other is the front, central, and the back vowels. Okay, so we'll be looking at them separately. We also have a chart to look at them all together. But I wanted to see what this particular diagram shows you is the positioning of these vowels, so the production sites of these vowels at the various parts of your mouth, and particularly with reference to the position of the tongue. Okay, so when I say front vowel, it basically means that the production of that particular vowel happens at the front part of the tongue. When I say central, it happens somewhere in the central column, you know, in that air column, that cavity that you have in the mouth, the oral cavity, it happens somewhere in the central region of your tongue. And when I say back vowel, it happens at the back. Okay, very simple. As the name suggests, there is no prize for guessing any of these things. Just as the name suggests, the production happens at the front region, the central region, and the back region. Okay. Now, what is high, mid, and low? This is based on the height of your tongue. If your tongue is raised, okay, in the production of a certain vowel, like for example, E and E. right? The short vowel E and the long vowel E. In the production of both these vowel sounds, the height of your tongue is raised. Okay, you can try it yourself. Say E and E to yourself and see where your tongue. Look at the pay attention to the height of your tongue. Okay, if it is high, as in the case of short E and long E, okay, then we call it the high vowels. Okay. In case of the second one, if you look at it vertically downwards, you have the vowel A, okay. What happens to that? In case of A, not and that is central, we look at it differently. But when you talk about mid vowel, you have particularly the one A, as in the word pen. Okay, pen. Okay, this one, if you produce that sound on your own A, you will see that the vowel, the site of articulation for it is when the tongue is, somewhere in the mid position. Okay, so you can do this exercise. Say E, A, and A. Okay, the last one, the low one that you see is A, as in the word cat. Okay, K, A, T. Okay, so say E, A. Together, E, A, together, and see how the height of your tongue varies. Okay, so this distinction is based on the height of your tongue. In case of E and E, long E, you have the tongue slightly raised. In the case of A, you have it in the mid position. And when you say A, your tongue is lowered down. Okay, do you see this distinction? Say this to yourself and, feel it. When you say this more, you'll understand. Okay, you can articulate it yourself and understand how the variation works. So this is about the high, mid, and low distinction. You will see something like the close mid and open mid. It is not very important distinction. You don't have to go into that many details of it. You can just consider just this one. Okay, A, and as mid vowels. Okay, now and which is the one that you see towards the center of this diagram, they also classify as the central vowels. Okay, but to talk about, they are also what you refer to as the mid one. Central and mid, just remember that they are the ones that are formed in the central position, and particularly when your tongue is in a resting position. Okay, it's neither raised nor lowered. It's in the resting pose. So you have the production of three of them. A as in the word pen, as in the word again, and as in the word curd. Okay, so this one is a long and a short version. So if you look at the central vowels and as in again and curd, one is the short one and the other is the longer version of that. Okay, ago and curd. So ago has the short vowel and curd has the long vowel for that, the longer counterpart for it. So all these three together forms the mid vowels. Okay, in all the cases, your tongue being in a say a resting position or a neutral position, the mid position. Okay, so that is about it. Okay, high, mid, and low depending on the height of the vowel. Height of the tongue, and front, central, back depending based on where your vowel sounds are formed, either at the front of the mouth, the mid portion in the oral cavity, or in the back of the mouth. Okay, so they're all referred to as like EE. They'll be called front vowels. Together, they can also be called the high front vowels. Okay. Now, if you have a question, there's one additional E below the short E and the long E. You see another vowel, right? This one is very special to English. Okay. Yes, the long vowel is denoted by colon, or you can also denote the long vowel with a repetition of the short one. So I can write I to refer to a long E. I can write U to refer to a long U, or write A to refer to a long A. Okay, or alternatively, you can also write A and a colon to show that it's a long A, or U and a colon to show that it is a long U sound. I and a colon to say that it's a long E sound. Okay. Low mid part. Okay. Low mid part. See, the only one that you have in low mid is the sound, right? As in the word cup. Okay. But we would mostly not consider that as a part of the low mid. We would leave it aside because is mostly a back vowel than, it qualifies mostly as a back vowel than a low mid vowel. Okay. That distinction, which is why I told you, you can, skip that distinction. You only keep the mid and the high, mid and the low in mind. Okay. Just leave aside the high, mid and the low mid part. That kind of detailed understanding is not required for your course. That's for something who does studies phonetics in detail. Just remember the mid, the high, mid, low, and the front, central, and back distinction. Okay. I'll give you a chart which correctly classifies all of them. It comes up in the later part. So we look at it then. Your confusions would be cleared then. Okay. Can you please repeat the sound as short and long? Oh, okay. So as in the word again. Okay. So most of the people would say again, right? Or about or ago. So the sound actually has to be so again, about, ago, not again. Again, not again. Okay. Again. So this is also what is called as the inbuilt vowel. So in most of the consonant sounds, you cannot say that consonant sound without having said some sort of a vowel sound, right? That inbuilt vowel is this one, this sound, ago, again. Okay. Around. Okay. It's not it is okay. Okay, I'll try and do that. We are talking about this one. You see the cursor now? We're talking about this particular sound. Okay. That's the inbuilt vowel that you find in most of the consonant sounds. You cannot actually produce the consonant sound without the help of a vowel. Okay. And that vowel which helps in the production of the consonant sound is this one, the inbuilt vowel. It has a name. It's called schwa. Okay. This is the vowel that is involved in words like ago, around, again, etc. And the longer counterpart of that is this one, as in curd, okay, or earth. All of those words would have this longer one. Is that clear now? Yes? Okay. Yeah, the E sounds, yes, it sounds similar to the letter E, but I would like you to stay away from the letter and the representation part right now. Focus on the sounds, okay? All right, so let's move on. We'll go to the next one. You have a better view of the vowels that we just discussed. So look at this, the long E and the short E, right? Don't go by the symbols. Some of them would use the symbols differently, but all you have to understand is how it is spelled or pronounced more than the symbol itself. Okay, symbol is not a part of your course. You don't have to look at them closely. Okay, so look at this one, beat. Okay, the first one is a long vowel, beat. Second one is bit, it's a short vowel. Okay, and then you have the A sound, which is bet. Okay, ba, a, t, bet. Ba, e, t, beat. Ba, e, t, bit. Okay, the first line. The second one, boot. Now, the vowel in the word boot is a long one. Okay, ba, u, t. Okay, short one would be, what would be the short one? We don't have the short one indicated here. An example would be book. Okay, ba, u, k, book. Now, the one with the long right? That is verse, like in the word I indicated before, curd, earth, verse. Okay, this is the longer counterpart for the inbuilt vowel remember the one we talked about. So verse, cup. Okay, cup. That's again a short vowel. Okay, then you have cap. The vowel sound here is a. Okay, not a. A. This one is again very specific to English. A, cat. Okay, packet, cap, can, all of them. The sound is a, and p, cap. Then you have the. Okay, now the sound that the word the has is, one is the consonant sound the, which indicates the vowel sound because I told you, like all the consonant sound come in with an inbuilt vowel, right? So this is a good example of that. The word the, THE, it's actually just one consonant sound, right? The. But the vowel sound involved in this is the inbuilt vowel, okay? Now this should be easy for you to understand. Now, the next one is foot. Okay, well, we had an example with the short vowel. So foot. Now look at the spelling. If you go by the spelling, people would have a tendency to say foot. It's not foot. What is it? It has a short vowel U. It should be pronounced as foot. Okay, not foot. Foot. So for the short vowel U and t, foot. Okay. Now the next one, hot. What is the vowel sound involved? O. O, not O. Okay, the sound, the O that we are familiar with in our languages is actually not present in English. Okay, English has mostly three variants of this. One is the vowel involved in hot, which is O. Okay, then you have the one in fought, the next one, that is the long vowel O. Okay, fought, hot, fought. And then the third one would be actually what we refer to as a diphthong. Okay, like in the word float, F-L-O-A-T. That is not float. Non-native speakers they tend to say it as float, but it's actually pronounced as float. So it's a and u together, float. Okay, not float or float or anything, float. A and u together, float. Okay, we'll look at an example when you have the practice, but I just wanted to draw that distinction to you. The O that you see in our languages, which is a very important vowel sound in our languages, is not actually present in English. O is not found there. Instead, you have O, you have O. Okay, hot and fought, the long and the short one. And the last one that you have is bark, which has the long A sound. Okay, bark. No, vowel sound in bet and the is not similar. Okay, try and say bet to yourself. Bet, and say the. Do you say they? You say the, right? It's only a. The one in bet is a, and the one in the is a. A and a, they're different, right? The is only in certain situations. The is used when it's followed by a consonant. And in the case of a vowel, you usually use the, okay, SK. But that is not a very important distinction. People usually use it as the only. Not a very great thing to, I mean, not a very strict rule to be observed. Food, yeah, what's the vowel sound in food? It's not food, right? Birth is long or short vowel? Earth is long. What about birth? Birth also has a long sound. Okay, long vowel, sorry, not long sound. Okay, birth, earth, all of them have long sounds, long vowel sounds. Okay. Okay, so if that chart is clear, I would like you to take you to the next one, which has the distinction of height, position, length. Okay, the last one, the last column there, the fourth one has something on roundedness. We are not looking at that distinction at this moment. You can just concentrate on the first three columns, which talks about the height, position, and length. Okay, so for your convenience, they have also included examples. Minimal pairs. Minimal pairs means, you know, the words that differ in only one sound from each other. Okay, so that has been particularly facilitated for you to see the difference between the long and the short vowels. Okay, so you can take a closer look at this chart. So mostly in general, you have 4 high sounds, okay, high vowels, 4 mid vowels, and 4 low vowels. Okay. And similarly for the other one, position. Okay, 4 of them front, 4 of them back, and 4 of them in the central position. Okay, take a look at it closely, and you will understand. If you look at the chart, then you will understand the pronunciation and the logic of the pronunciation better. Okay, Is there a trick to identify? It's a bit confusing. It will be confusing because it's the first time you're listening to this, no? So like I told you, you will have to slightly set in the process of unlearning, okay? Try and understand what is confusing for you. If you understand that, then you will have to basically spend some time with it, okay? Not easily, doesn't come very easy to us because we have learned things in a certain way. Now we are looking at the details of it. So it would take some time before you can practice. Okay, you will understand. I'm sure it would take lesser time for you to understand, but to apply this in the speech itself might take a little time. All of us need to be a little patient about it. Okay, so there is no trick. Okay, that's the only thing available to you. The only way that is available is to practice and listen more. Okay, you need to train your ears. What you can do is, if I'm to suggest, I'm not sure if it's a British Council. Let me check. Yes, it's a British Council. The British Council has this app called Sounds Right. Okay. What you can do is this particular app, it only has the sounds in English. Okay. Only, it doesn't have anything else. It has the sounds and then the words that would help you understand how these sounds are pronounced. Okay. Like the one that you have on the chart on screen. You can download that, and what you can do is you can play these sounds to yourself and constantly train your ears. The only way you can improve on it is through ear training. The more you hear to it, the more you hear it, what happens? Your brain also forms a coordination with this, right? So all your senses work together along with your brain to make you function the way you are, right? So this hearing also really helps. So constant practice and drilling, keep hearing it, and then once your ear is trained to understand these sounds, you would see that it automatically comes off you. Okay. But in the beginning, you will require some efforts. You will have to write. Okay. Yeah. The app is called Sounds Right. Okay. Learn English Sound Right, I do not know, but the one that I have been using is called Sounds Right. It's easily downloadable. It's free. So you can download it and listen to it. Train your ears, listen to more of the sounds alone. Like you would do with music classes, right? To understand the notations and the notes better. You take up one swara, you concentrate, sing it for longer periods of time. People who do do Nad yoga and all, they understand this. You take a sound, you concentrate, or you enunciate it for a longer time. Concentrate more on that sound and understand what the note is. You can do the same thing with the language as well. Okay, not very different. So train your ears. All right. Just give me a second. Okay, so is that understood? I see a lot of questions here. So long and the short vowel, all of them in word class is the okay. I see that you're asking questions from the assignments too, but I'm not sure if they are from the graded assignments. Since I'm not sure, I'm not going to answer that. I don't want to give away the answers for it. That's why. But is there anything that particularly that I have missed? Reading dictionary. Please suggest best practices to apply this apart from the app Kartika. Okay, that should help you. And listen to more, as in basically immerse yourself in the language that you want to learn. Language learning only happens once you can constantly use that language. So listen to more of conversations, podcasts, series, movies, whatever that happens in English, right? Listen to them more. Watch the BBC more. BBC has if you go to their archives, you have something called a radio show that the BBC used to run. If you go and watch some of them, it's good because it's also a form of entertainment. or anything that interests you. If you like watching news channels, go ahead and do that. If you like watching podcasts, go watch them. If you like listening to lectures, do that. So there is no suggestions, there's nothing that we bound ourselves with, no hard and fast rules on what resources you can use to learn them. You're free. You can choose anything that is of interest to you, any area, and find programs that would take this up, listen to it. So that's the way you can train yourself. Okay. And additionally, if you want to concentrate more on your, on individual sounds, then this app can also help. Okay. Yeah. No, there's nothing like British English only, but our idea is to see that we sound closer to the accepted variety. Okay, so English, British English or American, anything that, any English that is spoken in a country which predominantly speaks English is okay for us. Okay, all right. So I'll share these PPTs and everything with you. So once it is shared, please take a closer look at these examples that you see here. You can come back to the next session and ask the doubt, or alternatively, you can also raise your doubts during the live session. Okay, you have all the options available in that sense. So is it blurred for me or is it blurred for you also? Does the screen look a little blurred to you? Okay, I am not sure why that happened. Let me stop and share again. Still so. Okay, all right. Anyway, the idea here was to share the short and the long vowel with you. Okay, so again, this one you can take a look when you get the PPT. Okay, the first part, monophthongs are basically pure vowels. Okay, again, you don't have to remember these names, but in case somebody asks you, or if there's by chance a question, monophthongs basically refer to the pure vowels, like you see on the screen. The short ones are E, U, A, O, and the other one which I'm not able to see right now. Okay, anyway, the short and the long. So a total of 12 vowels you have as monophthongs, which are referred to as pure vowels. Okay, which includes both the short and the long. Long, you have 5. Okay, so E has a longer counterpart, which is E, the long E. U again has a longer counterpart, U. Then you have the right, as in the inbuilt vowel, as in the word ago. You have as in earth, curd, birth. Somebody also gave that example, right? So that's another counterpart. Then, of course, the right? Like in the word car. So and its counterpart that's also another long one. So you have 5 longer vowels, and the rest of them are all short ones. Okay, so total 12, 5 of them long, and 7 of them short. Okay, that's what this was about. I'm not sure why it is blurred. I'll see if there's a problem. I'll rectify it and then send you the PPT. Okay, this seems to be a problem with all of them. Okay. So, any idea why this would happen? Because it was okay for me till morning. I don't know why this happened suddenly. We can do that. Try and do that. Oh, really? Thank you, Ankit. Yeah, everyone else. Yes, yes. Now it's visible, right? So this is the list. So you have E, U, A, O, and A, which are all short. The English has one additional E, as in the word happy. But in the general phonetics chart for English, we don't involve it. This is because it is only found in certain varieties of English. Okay. As in, what I mean is in the varieties that is present in UK itself, in the British English itself, it's found in only certain varieties. So it's not usually taken into the general sounds in English. But since we are talking about English, it won't hurt us to know that we also have the special vowel, happy. So this is much shorter than your other one. So you have E, then E, and the E one. So happy, it's not like it's not fully articulated. When I say that it's shorter than your short vowel, it just means that it's not fully articulated. You don't say happy, you say happy. It's done. Okay, or not party, party. Okay, so that very short one, the extremely short length one, that's very specific to English. Okay, so including that, you will have say about 8, but we don't keep it. We'll just look at the first 7: E, U, A, O, and A. Okay, so these are your short vowels. Then the long ones, like I already discussed with you, E as in keep, as in hurt, then A as in cut, then O as in taught, then U as in lose. Okay, all right. Then you have the next one, which is the diphthongs. So diphthongs again, they are formed by the combination of 2 pure vowels, right? So just look at the examples. You don't have to look at those distinctions given there. Look at the first one. It's a combination of E and A, right? So you get the ear sound. So here, okay, E, A, here. Okay. Then you have the second one is U and A, which is ua. Okay. Then you have the third one, which is A and A. So air, as in the word share. Sha, A, share. Okay. Then the fourth one is A and E. A. So D-A-Y is read as day, not day. Okay. Day. A and E. Day. Then you have the next one, which is A and E, that is I, as in the word prize. Okay, I, P-R-I-S, prize. Next is Oi, as in the word boy. Okay, Oi, O and E. Okay, combination of O and E, Oi. Then the next one is and O. Oh, now this is the example that I've given for the word float, right? Remember F-L-O-A-T, right? So usually the tendency is to say float, but it's not the O sound. It's actually this diphthong. Oh, float. Okay, so B-O-A-T is also this one, boat. Okay, it's a diphthong, not a pure vowel O. Y is considered by some people as semi-vowel, Pratyusha, but we would take it as a consonant sound represented by the um, uh, phonetic symbol, which looks like the small letter J here. So we treat it as a consonant, not as a semi-vowel. There are some people, there are certain theories which say that both were and here, which is the W and the Y symbol, the sounds for that symbol were and here are treated as semi-vowels. We'd still consider them as consonants for this course. Okay, we are not going into the theories which deal with them as semi-vowels. Okay, and then the last one you have here is ow. The last diphthong, a and u, ow, as in south, cow. Okay, bow, etc. So a total of 20, right? 20 sounds, out of which 12 of them are vowels, pure vowels, monophthongs, and then you have 8 diphthongs. Diphthongs made by the combination of 2 pure vowels. Okay. There is the sound, but the sound is not part of vowels. No, that's what we are going to discuss right now. The consonant chart that you see. This is the these are the sounds, the 24 vowels, sorry, consonant sounds that you see in English. So I think there was a question in the forum about the total number of sounds, right? It's 24. Total number of consonant sounds in English is 24. These are the ones that you see on the chart are the only consonant sounds that you have in English, right? They are distinguished based on the place and manner of their articulation. We'll leave that part for right now. We'll just simply look at the sounds at the moment. So the first one, you have the p, b, right? Both of them produced, the site of production is the lips, right? bilabial, both your lips are involved. So p and b, right? Then you have m along with it, again involving both your lips, m, which is a nasal sound, right? Then you have something which is called the approximant. This is what you were asking about, right? The semi-vowels. Some people would want to refer to this as semi-vowel, but we would treat it as consonant sound, v. Now, this is different from the v because that v is when your upper teeth touches your lower, the back side of your lower lip, okay? As in van, okay? Touch your, bring your upper teeth, the end of your upper teeth, tip of your upper teeth in touch with the back side of your lower lip and say van. So the V represents that sound, okay? Labiodental, we call that as the labiodental sound. So both f and v, okay, involves both your lips and your teeth. So that's called labiodental, but the v, as in the words like world, W-O-R-L-D, or W-H-O-R-L, world, all of them involve both your lips. So it's v. You round your lips when you have to say the word world, okay? But you sort of bring your upper teeth and your backside of the lower lip in contact when you have to say a word like vase or van, okay, or vent, right? That's the distinction between this V and W sound, okay? All right. It is blurred. That's right. That's how it is. There's some issue with the, I think some problem with the resolution, but it's clear, I think. It's not very difficult to say. Then you have, like we discussed, the labiodental sound f and v, okay? Just to the distinction between that, okay? Then you have the dental sound. Somebody was asking about where if you don't have the sound t, we do have it in English. So that's referred to as the dental sound. T and the, both of them, okay? Dental sounds t and the. Then the alveolar sounds, that is when the air is constricted at the alveolar ridge. You have t, d, s, z, n, l, and r. All of them alveolar sounds. Okay. Next is the palatal sounds, which is sh, okay, as in the word ship, and then j, as in the word measure or pleasure or prestige. Okay. So that's different from sh. Okay. Pleasure is different, and uh, prestige or measure is different. Okay, these are different sounds. They're both distinct sounds in English. Okay, both of them palatal sounds. Along with them, you also have ch as in chin and j as in judge. Okay, and the last one in that palatal group is y. Okay, the one that you were asking, semi-vowel. We treat them as consonant here. The representation for that sound, the letter Y here is this, as you see on the screen. The small j represents that sound. And we treat that as a consonant sound, not as a vowel. Okay. So here, as in you, or Europe. Then you have the velar, mostly three of them, k, g, and ng. Okay. And the last one is glottal h. Okay. Is that clear? What is this, Pritish? 5 to 10 minutes more. Okay, and this one again is going to give you a distinction of the various sounds with the words. Okay, this will help you understand how exactly all of them are. Now, last one. What is the last one in the previous chart? That is her, glottal sound. Okay, her. That's very common to Indian languages also, right? The sound her. It's referred to as a glottal sound. All right. And now one last feature with respect to the consonant sounds is the voicing. Now, look at this one, look at this chart. It usually comes in a pair. So in a pair, you will have one which is voiced and the other is unvoiced. So look at those examples. So p and b. P is unvoiced in this and b is voiced. What does voicing mean? Any idea? What is voicing? Voicing is, you know, and when you enunciate these sounds, when you articulate these sounds, there's some kind of a vibration. If you feel around your throat, you feel some kind of a vibration there. And this is what is usually referred to as voicing. This feature is referred to as voicing of that sound. Okay. So in the pair pa and ba, that vibration is absent for pa, which is why it's called an unvoiced sound. And with that vibration, ba is referred to as the voice sound. Okay, not puff or fair. Puff or fair is aspiration. It's different from voicing. Okay, voicing is basically a vibration of your vocal cords. So if you wrap your palms around your throat, you can feel it very clearly. When you say pa and ba, you'll see that there's a good vibration when you articulate the sound ba or ga, okay, or ja or va, za, the, ja. All of them will give you like a good sensible vibration in the vocal cords. Okay, so that makes the sound, that feature of those sounds is referred to as voicing, and they are called voiced sounds. Okay, the other ones in the pair that you see, they do not have this quality, and hence they are all referred to as unvoiced ones. Okay, what are palatal sounds? Vibration in the vocal cord. Yes, that's right. Fricative is when there is no free flow of air. Okay, so in the production of sound, when you say vowel sounds, the vowel sounds can be produced without any friction, right? There's no obstruction to it. There's a free flow of the air. But whenever there is some sort of obstruction in the release of the air, okay, that causes a friction in your cavity. So the sounds that are produced in that way, with the friction, they are called fricatives. Okay, someone's hands up. Who is that? Yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask the question if you have a question. That is Om Sharma. Sorry. Are you not able to speak?
Hello.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Yes. Basically, when we speak a word like in slow motion, bad,
Yeah.
Some voice consonant or a vowel sound is there. How can I rectify myself? Is it correct pronunciation? Because right now you are there, but when I am in my home and other place, that time when I practice, so how to rectify myself? Okay, this is a correct or this is a wrong, that thing.
So, see, again, the question you're asking me is about the pronunciation, right? So this
Yes.
doesn't, so that doesn't come very easily, Om. You need to practice. And how do you practice? I have given you a few options, right? One is definitely listening. If you have to speak better, you'll have to listen more.
Okay.
Okay. Listen to more of, whatever you're interested in, like,
Yeah.
if it's movies that you like to watch, you can see that. If it's something else that you're interested in, then you can listen to those. Okay. Or if you're interested in listening to songs, I do not usually suggest with respect to learning, because, people in the songs, they also use additional sounds, which they try and make it sound different to make it catchy. So that is not like a highly recommended one, although it won't do you a lot of damage, but keep that as a secondary option. You can go for commentaries, news, okay, or podcasts or movies or series. All of them can be helpful. And if you are concentrating, again, if your goal is to concentrate on individual sounds, then the app that I suggested should be really useful. Okay, you can do that. You write down a list of words, okay, and then try and speak them, okay, and check with that app if you're articulating your vowels and your sounds properly, the consonant sounds properly. Check with it. So this is like a thing that you can do on your own in the absence of an instructor. That app will fill the gap for an instructor. Okay. All right. So the next person, Sneha, what doubt do you have?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. My question was that you are telling us to listen to different things which are we are interested in, right?
Hmm.
And to identify the sounds through those mediums, right?
Yes, yes.
But ma'am, while listening to something we are interested in, we often ignore the sounds which they are producing. So we often get lost in the process.
Yeah.
So how to get
So
more sensitive about?
So that
Yeah.
happens because your goal is not set, right? If your goal is to learn something consciously, then you have to prioritize that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Ignorance is something that you can solve on your own. So you know that you're ignoring. So next time you listen, you don't do that. You be a little
Y-
conscious, okay? Pay more attention, spend more time with it, right? This can be solved on your own.
Ma'am, like what things should we pay more attention to while listening to some commentary or anything, whatever we are
The way they
listening?
speak, definitely. Look at the way they're articulating the sounds, right? You can
Okay.
pause also, right? These days, all things are possible, right? You're watching it online. You can pause it. You can listen to it again, right? Or you can bring down the speed also if you want. All of those things are possible, right? It would become a little, a bit of a meticulous task, but if that is what your goal is, if it is to concentrate on each of them individually, then it is okay. These are all different processes that you undertake to learn. No? So you can try both. You can do that in the slow pace in the beginning and then maybe increase the speed. Okay. Or if you are pausing after say one sentence, then do it for a couple of times and then take say 2, 3 sentences and then try and make sense of what they are, make sense of not what they're saying. But the sounds itself, concentrate more on them individually, right? Begin with a slow pace and then you can keep adding the time and the sentences and everything as you go by. Okay.
Okay, so ma'am, while listening to, should we get some list or something that we should listen to this article or whatever is said, and um,
No, don't.
according to that?
You don't have to cloud your mind with anything of that sort. When you're listening, just listen. That's all. Okay. Do not worry about whether I have a list of things. This doesn't matter. You're simply engaging in the process of listening. Just listen. That's all. Okay. Begin
like
with
the
that.
like the like a voiced or unvoiced, or if it is a long or a short vowel, all these things, if I want to understand this kind
Hmm.
of things, so
Hmm.
what should I take what should I keep in mind while listening to identify
Keep
this
in
kind of things?
keep in mind that you are listening for that. Like if you're looking
uh,
for voicing, then make sure that, okay, tell yourself that this is what my task right now is. I'm going to learn how I draw distinction between a voiced and a non-voiced sound. Okay. And then pay attention to that. So just take one at a time. Don't do all of them together. Once you get at a stage where you're familiar a little bit with these sounds, you've trained yourself a little bit there, then you can maybe club things together. But right now, you can, if you're willing to take up all of them individually, then take only one at a time. Okay.
okay,
That's
ma'am.
how you're going to begin with it, right? So if you're looking for voicing, then concentrate only that part of it in the speech, right? Or if you're going to look at, say, long and short vowels, then only concentrate on that part. Once you have trained yourself a bit in that, then you can combine all of these things together and then watch out for it. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, ma'am.
All right. No problem. Ritesh, you have a question?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Ritesh.
Ma'am, like how we pronounce this special symbols? Like we have to remember this, or
No, 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 no. This is again, I had already said this, but again, for everyone who's present, you don't have to learn these symbols. Okay. I have used them so that you can see the distinctions clearly, just for the sake of teaching you. Okay. You don't have to learn them. This is not important for your exam or even for the task of learning itself. You, like I mentioned already, there are many other methods to understand these distinctions. You don't have to remember anything about these symbols, okay, or how they are written or done or anything. That's not required, right? Is that all? I'll then go to Aditya. Aditya, what question do you have? Speak, or should I?
Hello, I'm
Ah, yes, yes,
Actually,
you're audible.
my question was the same as Ritesh told me.
No.
So, do we need to, notation? There are a lot of
No.
notations. So.
Simple answer, no. The same thing that I told Ritesh. You don't have to. Naveen, you have a different question or the same question?
Hi. Sorry, I joined late. I have a generic question. This is regarding the activity 7. The activity 7, I'm not able to upload anything. How it?
What is the activity on?
Record and analyze the language report of kids between age 2 to 4.
Ah, okay, okay. Got that.
So this is for our practice that I can understand, but so I do separately, but I don't need to upload it, right?
No, you don't have to.
Okay, okay.
None of the things that you do as a practice is uploaded. So this is for the sake of practice.
Because it still shows it's not completed or something like that. So that's why.
No. They are not graded. They are not meant for uploading.
Okay.
It's a very optional thing. If you are interested, you can share it. But otherwise, there's no compulsion.
Thanks.
Okay. Right. Anybody else? Any other question? So let me do one thing. We are done actually with the discussion part. So because this is like oh my, there are many questions in the chat box. We do meditation, meditate on the sounds, okay, not the other meditation. Sound regarding shush. I make lots of mistakes in words. Yeah. Who's this? You can raise your hands, okay, because most of your names appear as initials of your names, okay, the first name and the second name. So I do not know who you are to unmute you. You can raise your hands and I can help you with it. There's Maitri. Okay, Maitri, go ahead. Maitri? Om, Pritesh and others, do you guys still have a question or have you not lowered your hands from the previous time? Maitri, I think you're speaking, but I'm not able to hear you. Can others hear her? Or, I'm not able to hear. Are others able to hear Maitri? Sorry, you're not audible, Maitri. Om, Pritesh, do you guys still have a question?
Hello.
Om.
Yeah, basically sounds regarding sa, sha, and sa, and something like na, na. Sometimes it's a very little mistake. Silly. Sometimes we pronunciation like same type sa, sha, sa, but it's have some difference.
What's the difference there?
Sometimes sa, sha, sha, like something.
Sa, sha, and what?
Sha.
Na is very different. Na is a nasal sound. So sa and sha. Sa and sha, I know some of the Indian languages, they have a, they mix it up, right? But in English,
yes,
they are distinct sounds. So if you have to say seat, you have to say seat. Instead, if you say sheet, it's a very different word altogether, right? So the place of articulation for both those sounds are different. So sa, like you see on the chart, it's an alveolar sound, right? It comes from the alveolar ridge. Sa. That's when your tongue touches the alveolar ridge, right? That alveolar ridge is that hard part right behind your teeth.
Yes.
Okay? When your tongue touches that part, you have sa. And then palatal is when again the roof of the tongue touches the palate. Like
Yes, ma'am. Right.
sure. So in English, yes, I understand your question. In our languages, some of the languages here, they use them as an equally replaceable thing. But if you have that problem, you need to rectify it when you are speaking English, because unfortunately for us, these are distinct sounds in English and they can give very different meanings if you mix it up, right? Like seat and sheet.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Oh, one more question. When I writing the word something like that time, I make more mistake. Yeah, somebody telling me, okay, write this word, and at that time, how to uh, upgrade myself regarding words like this?
When you're writing, you mean spellings?
Yes, yes, spellings, writing.
Spellings again is a very troubled area in English, because English doesn't follow the letter to sound correspondence. So
Okay,
only way we have is what? Check a dictionary before we write down, right? That's
right.
the only thing we can do in this case. There needs to be
Okay.
some sort of reform that has to take place with regards to spelling, but that's not in our hands. We cannot be doing it. So dictionary, that's all. Okay.
Dictionary. Okay, okay.
Yes, check
Okay,
a
thank you.
dictionary. That's the only, an authentic dictionary, maybe say a Cambridge or an Oxford one, should be helpful.
Okay, ma'am.
Ritesh, I'll unmute you. Just a minute. I'm looking at what Maitreyi wants to. Is there any difference in the pronunciation of the word off and off? No. No, Maitreyi. It's off and off. It's actually the first off can change its pronunciation when it's used in a sentence. From off, it can change itself to of. Okay, the inbuilt vowel and the fur itself becomes ver. That's only in connected speech. Like when you speak, use the word of in a sentence in connected speech, it can change to of. But otherwise, on its own, of and off, they are the same. There's no much of a difference. Okay. Retroflex sounds. So retroflex sounds we don't have in English. Retroflex is more common to Indian languages. So your ta, da, na, right? All of them are retroflex sounds. In the production of it, your tongue curls backwards towards the roof of your mouth. So say ta or da or what is the other one? Na. It's the curling of the tongue towards the roof of the mouth. Alveolar is, see, that the hard part right behind your teeth, right, is the alveolar ridge. When the tongue touches that part, you have the alveolar sounds. So that is different from retroflex. Retroflex, the tongue curls and touches the roof of the mouth. That's how it is different. The PDF, this will be shared in the supplementary tab for your English one. You can access the file from there. Okay. Okay, I'll Ritesh, I'm going to unmute you. What question do you have?
So yeah, ma'am, like as you said, we should listen to what we like as of the content we like in English language.
Yeah.
So I do
Yeah,
listen to some of the podcasts. Some of the podcasts, but as in the podcast, some of the native speakers do use to shorten the words like going to gonna, wanna. So my question is like, is that helpful to listen, or because I don't think so it's a formal language. So
that is okay. So what you're referring to is about the slang, right? You can avoid that part if you're not interested in that. See, that is why depends on the nature of the program that you would choose to watch. So, which is why usually we suggest you watch the BBC, right? That gives you the standard variety which you need to be using in the formal spaces. But for beginners, people who are just beginning to learn and getting familiarized with the sounds itself, it's always nice to start with something that you're interested in. Everyone may not be interested in watching news and debates and other programs. So for such people, just for the beginning stage, they can listen to this. But if you are good at this, and if you are especially looking for something where you want to avoid these slangs, then you choose the BBC one. That should be better. Actually, I would suggest every one of you to watch the BBC. Even for the purpose of entertainment, they have things like radio shows. But if it is a little overwhelming, or it is, creating any sorts of anxiety for you in terms of understanding the content and all, then you can begin with lighter ones, is what I meant. Okay. So if you are good with it, Pritesh, you can start with the BBC one, no problem. You didn't find an example with the third sound in English? 3? Yeah, THREE 3. Thought, THOUGHT, thought. Thin, THIN, thin. Thick, THICK, thick. Right? They're all turn. Yeah, pronunciation changes with accents in English. That happens. Sure. Where can we talk to native speakers in free resources may not be available. I am not sure about free resources. No, they are not tha. It's the. Okay. TH does not represent tha in our languages. There's no aspiration, no extra puff of air. This is the the only. TH is the. All right, guys. So we'll close for today. Okay. So whatever doubts you have, you can come to the next session, ask them, or ask them in the live sessions. I will share this PPT with you, and I'm also going to share one activity document along with it. Please take a look at it, solve it on your own. And if you have doubts with any of those, please come back and raise your doubts for the next session that we'll have next week, same day, same time. Okay. That's so with you. I am not very sure about it. I'll check. If that's the case, then we'll see. Okay. It would be uploaded in the supplementary materials tab in English 1. Okay. Watch out for that space, and you should be able to find all these documents. Okay. If not, please write to the support team why you're not able to do this. Okay. Any difference between whether and whether? No. Same. There's no much of a difference there. Okay, all right. Thank you. So I'll see you next week. And please look at the activity document also. Solve the questions. Think about them. If you have doubts, note them down. Come back to the next session, ask me. Or come to the live session. You can get it cleared from the professor too. Okay. All right. So see you all next week. Thank you for joining in. We'll meet next week. Bye.